Is Iron Man a good movie or a bad movie? Is Thor: The Dark World a good movie or a bad movie? Welcome back to part 2 of the series where I rank every MCU movie, or at least the mainline ones, because I just recently watched every single one. And well, before we jump into this, for the second time, here's the rules. There's your rules. We're only talking about the mainline MCU movies. We ain't talking about Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer. We ain't talking about Ghost Rider. We ain't talking about, I don't know, Blade. We're sticking to the mainline. Rule 2, I'm talking about my thoughts, my feelings, but I'm also mixing in, general opinion, what other people think, and the impact, how are people going to be feeling about it in, 10 years, 15 years, 30 years down the line. What did your grandma think about it, What did Pepsi think about it? Were there branding on Pepsi cans? How impactful was it worldwide? Was there, Thanos dancing in Fortnite because of this movie? Rule 3, this music is from Star Fox. There's a connection there between Marvel and Star Fox, and I thought that was funny. Rule 4, I'm not a film critic, ha 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 ha. So if I don't put your favorite movie in the place you want it, don't vaporize me. So let's just jump in. Last time we sorted the entire multiverse saga up until Deadpool Wolverine, because that's all that's out. And I think we did pretty good. I don't know. I also forgot to mention, I mentioned Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, about how the initials spell out mom, and it released on Mother's Day, and it features Scarlet Witch trying to be a mom through any means necessary. But I did not mention, and I am very upset I didn't, even though I spent a lot of time on Quantumania, that Quantumania spells out Ant-Man. If you take out the U, you have to give Ant-Man points for that. That was kind of smart of them. Very smart. Now we are going backwards, or have been, but I want to jump out of line here and do Thor Ragnarok, Infinity War, and then Endgame, because they're kind of like a trilogy if you look at it like that. Thor Ragnarok, I feel like, did a lot of great things. First off, it mixed up the formula in a lot of ways. Thor 1, Thor 2, there you are. It was almost Shakespearean how it was. Thor talked in like Old English, lot of thee, and I'm not really a big fan of that. That's why I didn't play Ocarina of Time for the longest time, because you play it and Deku Tree's always talking in Old English. I'm like, Thor Ragnarok, it kind of like flips it all on its head. And Thor's more of a funny guy. People now, they're like, I'm not so big a fan of funny Thor. It also introduces Hela, who is the sister of Thor and Loki. And it also kills off Odin. and smashes Thor's hammer. Introduces I can't say it. Valkyrie, not the Twitch streamer. She's pretty cool. There's like a tournament arc in here. We find out where Hulk has been since Ultron, and it's like a whole Planet Hulk movie wrapped in here. And Asgard is no more by the end of the movie. And yeah, there's a lot in here. And then by the end, it's all looking good. They're all on a spaceship. All of Asgard, or what's left of it. And then things are looking up. And then by the time Infinity War comes around, like, everyone is dead. Which is crazy. Going from Ragnarok to Infinity War. So I really want to put Ragnarok here. At least somewhere up here. It may change in the future, but that's where I'm putting it for now. Infinity War, this is a lot of people's favorite MCU movie, period. It starts with just destruction of all of Asgard and its people, like I said before, and then it ends with like destruction of half the universe. I feel like I wanted to say something but forgot. Star-Lord kind of fumbles, but you know, it's something that you would expect. Yeah, that's kind of mean, but you know, it's not like out of character of him to do. You know, Gamora was his love, and he's like, "Oh man, you killed Gamora." He's the hot-headed type to do that. You know, if it was like, I'm not sure. I feel like Captain America wouldn't, or would hold back and be like, alright, we're sticking true to the mission. I don't know, it's a good movie. Definitely changed the world. The impact is there. Everyone everywhere was talking about the snap. You should have aimed for the head. You know? The meme factor is there. Everyone everywhere was talking about Thanos. I would put it above here. That seems good. Endgame. Alright, I'm like replaying all of Endgame in my head. You would not expect Thanos to be killed off in like the first 10 minutes. It's very interesting to see like who moves on to Endgame and like what team they gave you. I'm all for twists. If there's one thing you can see, I'm all for twists and I'm all for cameos. I'm thinking, I wasn't at least expecting Iron Man to die at the end of Endgame, but maybe that's because I didn't watch all of Iron Man, you know, the trilogy, in preparation for Endgame. When people originally watch Endgame, they're like, oh, yeah, it makes sense for Iron Man to die. I guess I'll slide this in here. People have been saying non-stop since Endgame, you're like, bring Robert Downey Jr. back. Bring Robert Downey back. Bring Iron Man back. Bring Iron Man back. And then finally, when Robert Downey Jr. comes back to play Doctor Doom, people were like, that seems like a pretty desperate attempt to win our affection back, Marvel. I'm like, bro, you guys have been crying for him to come back for since Endgame. I know with you people anymore. I would put this. I almost want to put it like here. I like it more than Infinity War. I kind of don't even want to separate them. I also did not expect Black Widow, of all characters, to die. You know? Kind of threw you for a loop. And when Thor or Captain America lifted Thor's hammer, you know, if we're talking about impact, that definitely shows you why that needs to be in S tier. Okay, Captain Marvel. I think Captain Marvel alright. This might be a I'm not sure what kind of take this is. Captain Marvel, her performance in this movie was good. And then her performance in Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame was like, it was alright. And then I really liked her in Marvels, actually. I just kind of ranked it this low because I was like, there wasn't really too much going on. Like in Thor Ragnarok, you know, there's a battle between Hulk on another world, and then there's Hela going on, and then his hammer gets smashed, and then they meet Valkyrie, not the Twitch streamer. There's so much going on, and Odin is dying, and Loki's there. But Marvels, I feel like they just go to the dance planet, and then they're switching bodies, or switching places. Not too much really happens. There's the one person with the hammer, Darman, but I'm not really sure. Captain Marvel, I would honestly put it here. Maybe here? Yeah, that seems like a good place. I like the cat. Goose. A lot of people, I feel like they did not like the realization that, oh, Nick Fury's eye patch, it came from Goose, the cat alien. And they're like, oh, it's kind of like from Quantumania. They were like, oh man, Kang got taken down by a bunch of ants, but he can take down Thor. Oh, Nick Fury, he's a big guy who can fight aliens, but he has a scar from a cat. And I'm like, well, they're super powered ants, and that's an alien cat with like tentacle mouth. I liked the Skrulls in Captain Marvel, and wow, I do believe Captain Marvel should have released around the same time frame that Black Widow should have released, like the Ultron timeline, like right in here. Ant-Man, Civil War, Captain or Doctor Strange, Guardians 2. It was a not too bad movie. It was pretty good. I enjoyed when she was hanging out in Blockbuster. Pretty good, pretty good. Pretty good scenes. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ghost was a, what would you say? Like a character you would not expect to like as much as you did. Again, I'm an Ant-Man head. Ant-Man and the Wasp, or Ant-Man movies are like always heist type movies, and instead of the usual, oh, it's him all alone, now he's got Wasp, and it's kind of like building off of Hank Pym and his wife. Now Scott Lang has his girlfriend. And I think in this one he's trying to get like try to bring Janet back from the quantum realm, but Ghost is trying to like steal her energy from the quantum realm or something like weird like that. I liked Ghost's powers, and I'm kind of like really into the idea that she's entering the Thunderbolts. Is that Guardians? I would throw this actually up here. This really felt like a extension of the first movie. Just like more of the same, but in a good way. And then at the end, how they all like put not Hank Scott in the quantum realm, and then they all get dusted to set up for Endgame. It's like, oh man, you think Scott's all done for, but it's a set up for time travel. That's kind of smart. Black Panther, coming fresh off the heels of Civil War. Very smart movie. Shows you where vibranium comes from, actually. Very nice to look at, actually. A lot of intricate scenes, and it's like, I feel like if you look at the kingdom of Wakanda, and you're like, alright, you look at one place in Wakanda, and then you look at, I don't know, a place in, I don't know, Guardians or something, or a place in like Captain America or Iron Man 2. You're like, alright, now which is which. I feel like you could be able to piece out a Wakandan city. They just really have good architecture. Good, like, folklore. And I guess like a good impact. Everyone was talking about Black Panther. Would you put? I'd put it above Shang-Chi. I've seen this movie a couple times. I've seen this movie actually 3 times. So. Now, is it better than Wakanda Forever? Yeah, that's a tough. Put that there. Might come back to that. Homecoming. Alright. Now, initially, I feel like we all were skeptical of Tom Holland. Nowadays, people are like, they're like Tom Holland's and everything. The idea of like scrappers scrapping out the wreckage of New York and using it for weapons is very clever, I feel. Especially after like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This happens like 10 movies later. And we're still talking about the Battle of New York. You know? And Spider-Man, they tiptoe around Uncle Ben, which everyone hated by that point. We do the Vulture, which was supposed to be in Spider-Man 4. I like it. People had problems with Tony Stark being in it too much. But I kind of think it gives him his own identity. You know? Again, like a lot of people. You know, look at the list so far. You know, I'm a bit of a contrarian, not by choice, but by I don't know, by myself. I called not Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, you know, the best Peter Parker. I called Andrew Garfield the best Spider-Man. And then Tom Holland, almost like a people call him like a Iron Man protege, but he's almost like a his own thing. That's Miles' thing, but he's like a, not an apprentice, but like a variant, or I don't know. This is the movie where he's like training to be Spider-Man. He doesn't really know what it's like to be. I feel like No Way Home is like the culmination where he's like, I finally know what it's like to be Spider-Man. Yeah. And then Civil War, you know, he doesn't even have the costume yet. So I feel, wrapping it all together, Homecoming, it's a good movie. Better than Ant-Man and the Wasp, Guardians, and Shang-Chi. Alright, Black Panther, I'm not sure. It might just go right there. Alright, Guardians 2. I'll stop at Ultron. Guardians 2 has the giant head and the scene that's like, what? And then the guy that's like, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. I honestly did not know a thing. I thought the what was like not even from a Marvel movie that like snuck its way into, I guess, memes so much that I did not, again, I don't know actors that well, so I did not recognize Chris Pratt. This is a good, it's a good movie. Is it better than the first one? Yeah, it starts with a scene with Baby Groot running around. I don't think it's, yeah, it's better than Shang-Chi. Yeah. Alright, Doctor Strange, you know us in this house. We're all about Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange. I don't even know where to start. You know, it's got the meme where it's like, Dormammu, I've come to bargain. And then Dormammu just smashes him, and then he comes back. And then he's like, Dormammu, I've come to bargain. And then, why do I like Doctor Strange so much? The movies, he always goes on like this crazy experience, and like the movie itself like flips and flops in all sorts of different ways. The mirror dimension, how he travels through like space in the multiverse of madness, he goes through all those multiverses. They play with a lot of different things in Doctor Strange movies. I would put this up here. Top of 8. Civil War. Alright, Civil War. It's got the, what would you call it? The impact. Everyone was like, alright, are you Team Cap or Team Iron Man? This has been like the first time since, I would say, either, I wouldn't really say Ultron, where you had the two opposing Avengers fighting. In Ultron you had like Hulk fighting Tony and the Hulkbuster, and then in Avengers you had Thor with fighting Captain America with the shield, and then Iron Man powering up with the Thor's lightning, But this is like a full-on fight, you know? And that's like the crux of the movie. From Ultron, the Sokovia Accords. I don't think you can rate it lower than A. It's gotta be up. We'll put it there for now. Ant-Man 1. It's a fun movie. And Ant-Man and Doctor Strange in this house. He starts off as like a criminal, getting out of jail. His daughter's like he's a stepdad, and he wants to see his daughter. And then he has to break in, or he gets told to break in to this guy's house, and it's like a superhero suit. And then he puts it on, and he can shrink down. I just wanted to add the idea of throwing things at things, you know, little shrink discs to have them shrink down. That's a clever idea. Not sure who came up with that, but that's clever. Instead of just having you shrink down, other things shrink down and then can grow back up. The final fight on Thomas the Tank Engine in the little kids' room, that's peak cinema. You gotta put this here. There. There. Then we'll end with should we end with Ultron? We'll end with a heavy hitter. Ultron. People do not like this. This is the first big Marvel thing people did not like. Why did people not like this? Two things. People did not like Ultron himself. They thought he was too quippy. And then that kind of like carried on throughout the entire Marvel multiverse or whatever. Reason 2, they did not like Quicksilver dying for that particular reason. X-Men came out around that same time with a movie. I did not watch X-Men movies. I have never watched them, so I'm not sure which one they were referring to, but they said Quicksilver was in one of them and he was cooler in that one. So I'm just taking their word for it. And they say Quicksilver could have moved Hawkeye out of the way. The context is, alright, Hawkeye is on the ground. He's like defending a kid. And then bullets get shot at them. And then Quicksilver, he runs in front of the way. And then he gets shot. And then he's like, he says something like, I guess I wasn't fast enough, huh? And then he falls to the ground and dies. Alright, here's my take. Could he have ran and picked up the kid and then ran and picked up Hawkeye? I don't know. You know, that's a lot of running. Especially pushing Hawkeye out of the way. You know, that's pushing you in the line of fire twice. Alright. And then my second backup statement, if you don't agree with that one, did he think he could just tank the bullets? Like, if he was running in front and just take the bullet straight to the chest and be like, alright, I can survive this, and then he finds out he couldn't. I don't know. I'm not sure what Quicksilver was thinking. Those are my excuses for Quicksilver. Other than that, I think, here's my problem. I think the fight between Hulk and Hulkbuster Iron Man should have been bigger. Or like longer, or like something. I don't know. It just felt like there, you know? There and gone. Otherwise, this kind of set up for like everything else going on. You know, the Sokovia Accords for Civil War. This gave us Vision, which is kind of sets up for Infinity War and WandaVision. This gave us Scarlet Witch, which sets up Multiverse of Madness and whatever else. Yeah. I would put it... What is this? Well, that is Multiverse of Madness. I would put it, actually... That's Guardians. I would put it... What's the matter? Okay. Right here. That seems a little low, doesn't it? I don't know. Other people are gonna look at this and they're gonna be like, "What is going on? Why do you have so many A tiers?" And like I said before, I feel like a Marvel puts out like good stuff, and then when they put out like mediocre stuff, then people are like, "Oh man, this is the worst stuff ever, unwatchable." And I'm like, it ain't unwatchable. It's just like not as good as the best of the best, you know? I guess that's the end of part 2. Stay tuned for part 3, where we go through Iron Man to Guardians of the Galaxy. See you then.